J Talk Podcast. Welcome to the cafe.
Real talk. Real people. Real situation.
Welcome, J Talk Podcast, real talk, real people about real situations. You are in the cafe, and I am so excited to have none other than the man himself, Ernie Williams. How you doing, sir?
Brother, I'm well, and it's really a pleasure to be here. This is a day that I've looked forward to for quite some time, and it's finally a reality. I get to be in the seat with the man, and
I'm here too.
I like that. I like that. Yeah. The guys are in the seat with the man. So there we go.
Oh, man, I'm so excited to have you on. Listen, y'all, as y'all know, we are in the cafe. You know how we do it. Get you something to drink. Go and get your caffeine in your system, everything. Ernie Williams playing safe today. As you can see, he's playing it safe today. He got him some water. So we're gonna let him make it this time with his water and everything. But we got our coffee, got our caffeine. So we're going to talk today as we have none other than Ernie Williams in the house, in the cafe with us today. So, Dr. Ernie Williams, man, tell us something about yourself. Tell us, who are you? Tell us about yourself.
Well, I'm gonna go back to that water versus coffee statement. I mentioned earlier, I'm an early riser, so I've already had 3 cups of community coffee this morning. And my doctor's always telling me that you need to slow down. But I'm a coffee guy, and when I walked in the door earlier, it was smelling so good, man. And I really want another cup, but I think I'm gonna stick with the water. But back to your question, just a little bit about myself. I'm a hometown guy. Palestine is home. Born and raised here. Left when I was 18 years old, going to the Air Force. And you know what I said, brother? I said, I'm never going back to Palestine. I said, I am not going back for anything. But I've been back a couple of times, and this is the longest, time that I've been here for quite some time. So I've been home for 4 years after being in Dallas-Fort Worth for overall about 41 years. Being there and working there, and I'm enjoying it because we have a lot of work to do here in Palestine. We have a lot of work to do, so I'm excited, man. And you know what else? I'm really excited that someone your age, man. You are a leader to be so young. Man, I'm 65 years old, okay? And, man, if I were your age, it's easy to say that, but, man, you got it right now, man. I love how you move, man, and what you're doing in this community.
Man, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I have people I have to look up to and look around, and I, when you hear Ernie Williams, first of all, Ernie Williams Insurance.
Yes, sir.
Insurance. Tell us about your insurance thing. We're gonna have to talk about today. Your insurance thing. Tell us about that.
Well,
where all that started at.
Yeah, well, insurance. I used to hear jokes about it being the most boring industry in the world, and I guess it could be. But I got started in insurance after being in radio for 25 years. I was in radio for 25 years.
Really?
Love radio broadcasting. It's in my DNA.
Wow.
When I was a little boy, I used to get brushes and play in the mirror like I was broadcasting. Used to do imitations of Howard Cosell. Of course, won't do that today. But I lost both of my brothers to cancer. Okay. And they both had cancer. And I watched and I saw what life insurance could do for them.
Yeah.
And God has a sense of humor. In the midst of that, I get a phone call from Allstate Insurance. I didn't call them; they called me.
Really?
And after really watching that, I got a call. And man, I said, insurance, why on earth would I want to do insurance? But after getting that call, I investigated it. Next thing you know, I'm up in Chicago in one of their programs learning about insurance. So I haven't looked back, and I think that was in like 2008
Wow.
2008. So I had to reinvent myself after 25 years of radio.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it is.
I came here in 2008.
Wow. Okay.
I started pastoring here in 2008.
And what a marvelous job you're doing, brother. I've had a chance to hear you, see you, and actually work with you, and you're doing mighty, mighty things. And I'm just praying, man, that God will continue to use you and bring, guys your age, because let me tell you something. I'm not an ageist type of person, but I just believe that God is doing things with the younger guy, because your mind is not so made up. You have a wider paradigm where you can actually see things, and guys my age, and I'm talking about myself. Like even the Super Bowl halftime, I had no idea.
Yeah.
But then once I found out what he was talking about, I said, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
But guys your age, man, y'all know what's up.
Yeah.
You know who Kendrick Lamar is.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's another subject.
When my son tells me,
okay, yeah.
I had to go back. Yeah. I guess I'm so out of touch. I had to go back. Of course, I know who Kendrick Lamar is. I know who he is,
sure.
and of course I'd heard about a little stuff they got going on, him and Drake and different things like that.
Yeah.
So, but it's funny you mentioned the halftime show. So with the halftime show, I'm sitting there and I'm watching it. Matter of fact, first of all, let me be transparent. We're very honest on here. We have a saying on here. We have a saying on in the cafe. We have no sense, but we get it done.
There you go.
So we have no sense, but we get it done. I told myself, I said I wasn't watching the Super Bowl. Right? I wasn't watching the Super Bowl, and it just happened to happen on Super Bowl Sunday. We had the youth choir from Uganda.
Oh, wow.
The children youth choir from Uganda. They was with us, and man, the cafe people know they blessed us. They absolutely
beautiful.
Blessed us. I'm telling you, they took over at 3 o'clock. We had 3 o'clock service strictly for them. And when I tell you they came in, they did their stuff, loved on us. We loved them. It was so crazy that when it was over with, we were like, my wife was like, do they have to go? I'm like, and to see them in the van driving, I was just like, they just stole our heart. I was gonna call the police, but they stole our heart. They took our hearts. I'm like, hey man, come and get our stuff.
Right.
But so I didn't get to see the first half. I saw the second quarter. A little bit of the second quarter. That's by the time we got home, because we fed, we ate in the back, did everything, got in the back. So, and we get home, and I'm watching just enough time to see the halftime show, and I said, well, I'm really, when I do watch the Super Bowl, my team hasn't been in the Super Bowl in. So,
I understand.
So I'm a Texan. I know you are a Cowboy.
Unfortunately,
yeah. I know I have them on here. Y'all know I have them on here every time. There's a Cowboys fan sitting over here every time. It seems like. So I wasn't really, and then the way Patrick Mahomes beat my team, and I was still upset about that. So I really have a dog in the fight. Watched the halftime show, and I'm looking at.
Right.
I said, okay, this is not a regular halftime show. I knew they said the president was going to be there, so I knew anytime we say the president was going to be there, we're going to use an opportunity to let our voice.
Oh yeah.
And you should. You should, because you don't get
freedom of speech.
Freedom of speech, and you don't get no appointment where you can just let me go to the White House, knock on the door. Hey, let me see you real quick. That don't happen.
Doesn't happen.
So I knew. So I'm looking for the signs, not realizing the whole halftime show was a sign.
The whole thing.
The whole thing was a message.
The whole thing. He had a powerful message, man. Agree or disagree, but put a lot of work into it. Did it very respectfully. There was no bad words in there.
No.
I mean, and that's one of the most intelligent young guys that's out there today.
My gosh.
You don't worry about the 4-letter words. You ain't got a blue, But I think he did a great job with what he said.
I like him. I like him. He was so funny. It was so funny. They did a sketch of the field.
Oh yeah.
And where he went on the field, like all over the field, and they said that he had more yards than Kansas City had. Yeah, I know that was. Yeah. They said he had more yards than Kansas City. But let me tell you what disturbed me, and I want to talk about what you're doing in the community. But let me jump around a little bit. Let me tell you what really kind of disturbed me a little bit.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Was that when I see a young African American man who's using his platform.
Yes.
Okay. Because I think a lot of us don't use our platform. You're placed there. I have this thing where I feel like you're placed there not for you,
right,
but for you to make an impact. I play on words.
I like that.
I play on words. Y'all figure out where the play on words come from. But He used his platform
for beef.
Yes. Yes. And I will tell you, he got everybody.
He did.
Everybody from Drake to the president to everybody. He got everybody. So
it was a net.
Yeah, it was a net. It was a net. But there was another African American man who came on social media and dogged him for his halftime show.
Right.
Like literally, he dogged for. He says, "I come to the football game to be entertained, not for any political. And if you want to do that, watch the news and things like that." Yes, that's what he said.
Well, you know, Pastor, it's kind of like you said earlier. I don't go to church to be entertained.
Yeah.
I mean, when I go to church, I'm looking for a word from the Lord, man. And
yes,
I think many of our problems is we've been looking to be entertained way too much. You know, with the dancing and the. No, man, it's time to be educated.
Correct.
And not necessarily entertained all the
correct,
time. So
correct.
That's where I feel.
And I think that comes with education. Mm-hmm. And I'm not talking about school, books, things like that. I think that comes with you just knowing who you are.
Whose you are.
Whose you are. That's the main thing, whose you are. And not just selling for, if it's not just selling for, just because you said it, I'm going to run with it.
Right.
You know, I'm the kind of person, I like to do my homework, my background, things like that. Sure. And so that's why I had to go back and investigate what was he doing. What was that whole halftime show about? I saw the stuff.
Yep.
I mean, you can't help to see the flag. You
the visual,
come on,
it's there.
You can't help to see the flag.
That's right.
You can't help to see how they were dressed. You can't help to see the city, the street lights and things like that. But I went and did my homework to see what all it entailed. What did all that mean? You know, you had Serena Williams crip walking in the corner. You know,
Samuel L. Jackson, who had his message.
I was trying. Wait a minute. Now, I'm gonna tell you something. No one had to tell me.
There you go.
Nobody had to tell me.
Django all over again.
Nobody had to tell me, and I think they couldn't have picked anybody better to play that part.
Yeah, and Sam was excited to do it. Did it perfectly for free. Did that because he was doing what he believed in too, and that's part of it. And you know what, Pastor? I need to say this real quick too. Man, you know, one of the things, and I have to admire you. And I mentioned a few guys not too long ago. I mentioned a young man like Jonathan Carey, who number one is a great father, great husband,
I know,
great man.
Mm-hmm.
I can say the same thing with you because I see how you know your son. I think he did a rendition of a praise day.
Yes,
man, that thing had an effect on me. I promise you, I get goosebumps when I think about it.
He did it yesterday.
Get out of here.
He did it yesterday. Twice. Man. He did it here, and he did it out of Jasper Baptist Church, which was there late yesterday. As I told you, we were going. We were there, had a great time. Yeah.
Well, just a great father, man, and that's what we need. You know, I talk about Rashad Mims too, whom we honored not too long ago, and I know we'll get to that.
Yes.
But that's another great father, great man, great husband, and you know, if we can some way capture that and applaud it, because man, you know, I just believe that God is doing something totally new. You know, what's that? The rivers of water in the desert, and but He's doing something new right here with guys like y'all at that age. Because I ain't saying God is tired of fooling with us, but I think sometimes He says, okay, well, you know, you can't carry us to the promised land, but I got some young guys back here now who are in tune with me. They're obedient, good fathers, good husbands, work hard, community minded. Man, and I just admire you for that. So I just wanted to plug that in there.
I would like to, let me play devil's advocate for a second as well.
Yes, sir. Please do.
On the opposite side of it, I believe that that's who Satan, you know, with you all, for some of you all, and I'm not saying
I got it.
Satan has given up on. Like, okay, listen, if you ain't gave in that by now, you ain't gonna give in. I'll move on to somebody else. Right. Who's next in line? That's us.
That's right.
You know, I'm 43 years old. I'm next in line for that fire. You know, I'm next in line for that. And so I believe that that's where Satan continues to try to get us off, you know, through the different things, the different spirits that are coming through social media, through life, period. Through life, period. And of course, unfortunately, some have fallen straight of that. And I believe, like you said, I believe that one of my jobs is not just in the household but in the community is to be that example. You know, because come on, we all can make excuses. We all can make excuses. My grandma raised me.
Okay.
My grandma raised me. That's who raised me, right? My daddy was there. You know, I saw my dad when it's time to get spanked or something like that. You know, if I didn't do good in school or something, you know. But But did my dad love me? Yes, he loved me. But my grandma, that's who I lived with, right? So I could easily say, oh, well, I came from, it was just me and my grandma.
Yep.
There's some things I probably tried to do, but my grandma didn't play.
Yep.
She didn't play, and I could have used that as an example to not go to college, or use that example to, and I'm not saying that everybody goes to college, use that not to get a trade, not to do this, not to do that. Grace and mercy, and people in the community, I had a J.C. Hunsberry, who was my scoutmaster.
Okay.
He was an old Army vet.
Sure.
And I looked at him, as a male figure. We had people like at Wheeler Avenue in Houston, Texas. We had Loris. So Olu, he was over Boys' Rites of Passage. I set myself under people like him. My father in ministry, Dr. William Alexander Lawson. People like him. Mentored under people like Dr. Cosby. People like that who I see even to the day. I watch, and I try to imitate the stature of them.
Yeah, sure.
So it's almost like trying to bring a Houston statue here to Palestine and see how can we make this thing happen.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it's happening.
Yeah.
It's happening. And so that I see somebody like Ernie Williams, who left out of Palestine, can't say I wasn't coming back, came back in Palestine, and I want to talk about, and at least what I want to talk about, the things that are going on, because I know I used the word, I said impact.
Sure.
And you have an organization here in Palestine called Impact.
With the M.
With the M. Can you please tell us about what you all, your organization, what y'all do, and y'all, because you're not just here.
No,
you're not just here.
No, sir.
Man.
And thank you for asking, Jonathan, because community impact really became a reality last year, but impact has been around for almost 30 years. It started. I used to go to First Baptist Church to play basketball downtown with a group of guys, a lot of attorneys, a lot of doctors, and we would just be shooting hoops. Of course, can't do that now, man. I'm 65, but I was much younger then.
You still got it, man.
No. I was in my 30s then, and I would see some of the kids, that would be downtown, and they would watch us, and they would have their faces pressed up against the window wanting to play basketball. And of course, they didn't have the money, so they couldn't play. So one day, I went over to a group of them and I say, come on, fellas, y'all can come out here and play. And as God would have it, every week, some of the same kids would show up. And I started giving them a ride home. And not only that, I'll start to witness to them. I'll be honest with you. I started telling them about the goodness of the Lord, man. And I had one young man said to me, I haven't seen my father since I was 8 years old.
Wow.
And I hope I see him, because when I meet him, I'm going to kill him.
Wow.
His mother was on dialysis, man. His mother was only like in her 30s, but she looked like she was in her 70s, because life had been hard.
Yeah.
So God used me to be able to get that kid a tuxedo to go to prom. I'm serious, man. And of course, things were tougher for me financially then than they are now, because, when I was 35 and 40 and 43, you're trying to raise a family, you struggle.
Correct.
Now I have grandkids who I can spoil.
Amen, somebody.
Yeah, so it's a difference. I mean, I'm basically retired, even though I still still work and enjoy it. But finances were different. Was different back then. So what Impact used to stand for was make it personal, accept Christ today. And I promise you, man, make it personal, accept Christ today. That was what God gave me to deal with, and. Over time, I had an office downtown on Ackert Street, downtown Dallas, riding the train in, commuting, doing wonderful things. But over time, I shelved it. This time, it's really to make truly a different type of impact.
Yeah.
So it's not. I guess you might say it's not faith-based, but in reality, it is, because everything has to be faith-based. Because if it's not, it won't work.
Yeah.
So this time, Community Impact. Is an organization that has an immediate goal, and that is to build a rec center right here in the South End where I grew up.
Oh, wow.
And the Boys and Girls Club, we got approval. Now we're waiting on one more thing. We were able to buy the land right up the street here on West Reagan. So Community Impact will build, by the grace of God, a 20,000 square foot Boys and Girls Club that will have a full gymnasium inside, a full kitchen inside, to where we can actually feed the community. We can work with this congregation, other congregations, because here's the thing, Pastor. We have young boys and girls, 3rd and 4th grade, man, who can barely read. Okay?
Correct.
We have kids out at the high school, and not just Palestine, but almost every city across America.
Yeah.
In the 10th grade, reading on a 2nd and 3rd grade level. Okay. Well, what happens is if you go to A.M. Story School, you can't stick around for tutoring because that bus leaves.
That bus gone.
And you can't get from that side of town over to where you live because mom might not have a car. Mom might be a single parent.
Correct.
Mom might work at the prison or dad. So all those circumstances. So we got to bring the tutoring to the kids.
Correct.
And that's what we have to do. So it's going to take a buy-in from our entire community, black, white, brown, all of us together working to make this impact happen.
Let me tell you something about when you just answered a great question because, inquiring minds definitely want to know. I saw that sign.
Yes, sir.
I saw the sign. I mean, my wife was just like, we were just overjoyed about that because of where we come from.
Yes,
sir. In Houston, it was nothing to see a Boys and Girls Club or, the rec center and things like that. And I always stopped being here. I was always going, man, that'd be so cool if Palestine had that. Even being not even a mile from where it's going to be at, resources limited, but, me being a former educator, I always thought, man, it'd be cool to have tutoring somewhere around here. We just have space for it, but it'd be cool to have tutoring. And knowing the fact that these kids didn't have needed that extra oomph, because a lot of times the kids were leaving, they left from the house, from the school, they went home, played basketball, kicked it, and started over again. So if they didn't get it, and a lot of times they were nervous to even embarrassed to tell the teacher, I don't know. Anybody got any questions? I don't know. And so they just fall in the cracks.
That's right.
And so I am, man, that is, and however we can play a part or whatever, literally, please let us know. My wife, man, please let us know.
And you know what? You're already doing it, man. And I want to tell you, man, a lot of times people don't even notice the work that you do personally. I mean, this is not a cheerleading session, but you being very involved, man, with Boy Scouts.
Yeah.
Brother, your name comes up all the time to me from other people talking about, you and the Scouts. And I have a check for your wife. They came by the office, and I heard about it, but I need to leave a check with you today because that's what we do. God blessed me to own a business.
Yeah.
And if I don't use that platform to help other people doing great things, man, shame on me. So that's what we do. But, this Boys and Girls Club is for all of us.
Man, it's exciting.
All of us.
You done messed me up. You done messed me up.
Yeah, man.
You done messed me up.
And it's going to take a village, man, to do this thing. And also, 3 streets over from where we are, maybe 4 streets, is South Street, right here in the South End.
Correct.
We are remodeling a house that's going to be a home to 6 veterans, man. 6 veterans are going to live there. It's not just a house; it's their home, and that's the difference, man. So, there's stuff that we all can do collectively. And let me tell you where that passion comes back from, Jonathan.
Please.
I grew up here. I was born in 1959.
Yeah.
I lived in a 2-bedroom house. I think Mom and Daddy added the bathroom. We had a kitchen and a room we called the front room. I guess that was it. And I'll bet you that house was about 700 square feet, but it was 6 kids in there, Mom and Daddy, man.
Wow.
And I mean, it was tough,
Wow.
but we made it. And Daddy worked 3 jobs, man, getting it in, and that's what we did. And when I see what's happened in this area, and what is happening in this area, we need a restoration, man.
We do.
And we got to buy back in to take this community back, because we have senior citizens living here who, in many cases, don't feel safe.
Yeah.
And that's shame on us, man.
Yeah.
We got to do something about that. And we're going to. So this is our neighborhood. It's all of our neighborhood. So we got work to do. So community impact is gonna stay on point.
Man, I gotta give one of those. I gotta give one of those.
Yes, sir.
That is amazing. And the reason I say that is because we hear so many, excuses.
Right.
We don't have it. And then some of it is true. A lot of it is true. We don't have. But the question is, where does that start? You got people like you who are saying, listen, hey, enough about the talk.
Right.
You know,
yes,
and my wife said, but you know, she said, you need to sit down somewhere, you know, just slow down, because I have this thing about talk.
Yes, sir.
You know, I was
yes,
on
sir.
a Zoom meeting last week. I was on an anti-racism Zoom meeting, right, and reconciliation, and so we're sitting there talking. It's me, and it's probably about, I don't know, roughly probably about 4 or 5 of us,
okay.
And then the rest were white, you
yeah,
know.
I got you.
And so it almost sounded like they were talking to them, you know, just trying to see how to get them, because technically the church is still, and I'm gonna say this, the church is still one of the racist places still exists.
Yeah, it is.
Exists.
Yep.
Without going into names, we tried to collaborate with another church, a Caucasian, and we did the whole process. We, you know, me and the pastor talked back and forth. We said, hey, let's switch pulpits.
Yeah, let's try that. Yeah.
Let me go over there. And it was, as a matter of fact, it started off being his choice. I said, cool. I said, well, my choir went and practiced with his musician, and so I was excited. We were about to do something that had never been done before with us. Well, it was time to approach the thing, and the pastor, I guess he was getting backlash from the congregation, and the pastor said, well, I still want you to come.
Yeah.
And something came up that Sunday. And I'm not going to be able to be there that Sunday. But you can still come. Man, I'm not coming to your pulpit and you not there.
No, that's not cool.
And you knew that. And you knew I wasn't going to do that.
That's right.
You know I wasn't going to do that. And so, I prayed about it. And, you know, I told myself, well, no, let's try to do this another time. Of course, another time never came.
Right.
But you know, we have to. So I was in that whole anti-racism thing.
Sure.
To continue to educate myself, especially, you know, this whole thing about DEI, all those different things, and I wanted more education on what that entailed, what that was about. Because if I want to speak on something, I want to make sure I'm speaking on something right. Because once again, as we talked about in the cafe last episode, I said, if you don't say nothing, you're the problem. That's what I
like that.
Me and Pastor Parsons on here, and I said, and I asked the question. Listen, I asked the question.
Yeah.
I said, listen, can I take the gloves off?
Oh boy, come on with it.
I said, we're in the cafe. Can I take the gloves off? And Park said, take them off.
Take them off.
I said, I'm gonna ask one more time. As a matter of fact, if you want to, you can go back and see it. It's called, and the title of that episode is it's titled America the What? America the
not the beautiful. Huh?
No, it's America the what? America the what?
You feel it?
I mean, you say beautiful, but what is it now? Because it's not the same America that I remember. And I'm only 43 years old, so I know it's not the same that you've seen. So we began talking about that. But I asked the question on this Zoom meeting. I said, "What is now?" Because everybody kept using the same word, dialogue. Yeah, we need to get together and we need to have dialogue. We need to have dialogue. And everybody kept saying the same thing, dialogue. So finally, I put your little Zoom thing, ding, hand raised on, hey, me. And it said, hey, Pastor Strange, you're in the fellowship. I said, hey, question. When do we move from dialogue to action? I said, when does action come in place? We can dialogue all day long.
All day long.
I mean, to me, and you can tell me I'm wrong or not, to me, that's one of those what I consider safe answers, which means that we're kicking the can. What they say, kicking the can down the road.
Yep.
You know, as long as we talk about it, let's have dialogue, but it's still got to get to the root of the problem, because if your heart don't change, we just going to be kicking and kicking and kicking. So I said, okay, dialogue, cool. But what I like about you, okay, and like I said, that's why I wanted the cafe people to meet you.
Thank you, brother.
Is that you're different. And when I say you're different because I've only been in Palestine, like, I was a kid growing up here, you know, coming in for holidays and stuff. But as pastoring, I've been here 16 years, pastoring. Okay,
right.
And yes, it's embarrassing to say, even as a pastor, being here 16 years and not making a greater impact. But to see somebody like you who've come back and you said, okay, we're done talking, we're done saying what we should do. You know what we should do, and you're laughing because you know I'm telling the truth.
Yes, sir.
What we should do. Bringing your resources to the table, because you're in insurance. You know about all of these different things, the paperwork, the behind the scenes, the politics behind it, all the other the scary stuff that people it scares a lot of people away from doing it.
That's right.
But you and your group that's around you, man, which I really want to be involved in. I'm so serious. Sure. You all are saying, okay, listen, forget all that. Let's go ahead and get to work. Let's put our feet to the ground, and y'all are doing that.
Got to do it, brother. And, you know, I'm glad you opened the door on something, because it's something I want to share with you while we're here.
Mm-hmm. Please.
There is a segment of insurance that's called a key man policy.
Uh-huh.
I would like to see more of black churches do it. A key man policy is an insurance policy that takes care of the essential people and the key people who make sure that the church is going.
Mm-hmm.
For example, you're 43 years old. If you had $1 million key man life insurance policy, and some of your other big donors here,
mm-hmm.
may God forbid that he calls you home next week.
Mm-hmm.
Man, the church has got a problem. People stop giving. You know they do.
Mm-hmm.
People start looking for other churches to go.
You better ask COVID.
Yeah, people find reasons and excuses. And then, God forbid, Sister So-and-so, who was, good to give $500 every week, she believed in tithing. There's a fail-safe in place, but most black churches don't use it.
Mm.
A key man policy, should you pass away, the church will get $1 million. Boom.
Wow.
And what kind of work could the church do?
Wow.
Because things would stay until another pastor's there. But we just don't have that kind of vision.
Correct.
And when I talk to some of the larger churches in Dallas-Fort Worth, they have it in place. Almost all the Anglo churches have it.
I was literally just about to say, is that I got a friend of mine who's a youth pastor of a church,
sure.
And we were talking, and he was telling me somebody so and so had passed, a brother so and so had passed, and I said, hey man, how'd y'all get that roof done? Well, so and so she left this to the church.
That's right.
But you open up another can.
Another can.
So I can see these cans keep opening up. Yeah. My can open your can open my can. I believe also that we have to educate.
That's right.
Us.
Right.
Because we live for the right now.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Henceforth, we got a reputation of having a funeral 3 weeks later because we got to do fish.
GoFundMe didn't work.
GoFundMe and then the fish baskets and the whole 9 yards. Fight, do a couple of fights, knockouts, and then wait a minute, watch this. And then when it's all said and done, we cremate them.
And you know what? And we expect the church to take care of this. Well, I lived next door to the church all my life, even though I never came over there. Never put $5 in the plate.
And the person who passed ain't never been there.
That's what I'm saying. So it's going to take that paradigm shift where we become truly our brother's keeper.
Yeah.
Where we do start giving, like God commanded us to do. And that's the problem I see in many churches now. We'll pull up to church driving a new Benz, man, and leave $5 in the collection plate. That doesn't work. The church can't go on with $5 in the basket. And that's many of us. That's what we do now.
But people think that it comes to the pastor, right?
I know that.
It's
so sad, man.
They think that comes to the pastor.
And these lights won't get paid, water won't get paid. People come into the church and it's cold, and during the summer the AC is out. But all of that money comes back from.
We need to have a. And it's funny when we're talking about education.
Sure.
I think I'm at that place in my ministry of once again, like I told you, not just selling what people say, but educating myself and trying to educate those who are around. Prime example, I've done a couple of workshops on evangelism, community outreach, and evangelism. And in that, in that workshop, I told them that, talking to a bunch of ministers and preachers, I said, you got 6 members over there.
Yep.
You got 10 over here. That's your family, and that's your family over there. I said, but there's still no excuse to why you can't get out and literally outreach in the community.
Reach out. Yeah.
I said, there are other things, other organizations that are got stuff going on.
Right.
You can attach yourself to that. Okay, so y'all having can we come over there and help? Can we come help y'all do so and so?
Yep.
Y'all got this going on. Can we go over there? So I try to educate people on going outside of your walls to see how you can get that done. Get outside your walls,
That's
right?
That's right.
And so with that also being said, is that I believe that we ought to really educate our people on stuff like that, insurance,
Sure.
on stuff like that, because our people, for some of us, we just don't know.
Don't know.
Be honest with you, some of us just don't know. Knowing that there's key man.
Uh-huh.
I ain't never heard of key man before you just said it just now, like breaking news, like, hey y'all, key man. Remember key man? So it'd be awesome if we had like a program where it was strictly of people show up, sit there, and we school them. We use the old term, school them on the things that they know.
That's right, man.
Because it's just taught. It's just taught down.
Yeah, we have to pick each other's brain. And you know what, man? We keep secrets so well. You know, we don't want to. I don't want to help you because that might mean you're getting ahead of me. So I can't tell you what I know. And you know, that's that sad thing that we got to work on.
Correct.
But you know what, man? We have to. You know, many times in churches, I know that your wife is a nurse.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we do health fairs. We do all those great things, but it's rare that we have economic fairs.
That's what
Yeah,
exactly.
where we can talk about, Big Mama, where's your will at? Where's your life insurance policy? Where do you keep it? Because if something happens, not if, when, what do we? What do we do? And there's no succession plan. There's no will in place. Then the kids fight over the little stuff, or the state takes the house back, and it's just. But no one has that conversation.
We had something like that one time. Brother Van actually
Brother
did.
Van, there
We
go.
had that with Brother Van. Brother Van, a while, man. When I tell you,
Some years, I got you.
Way before COVID.
I got you.
But that would be something awesome to have, man. And I wouldn't even mind putting it together, whatever. And I don't, yourself and many other people who come and literally just talk about that to the people.
And Pastor, answer me this, man. What happens when a young man turns 18, goes to college, he starts getting all those credit card slips in the mail, and you can get a credit card.
Hey, leave me alone. Don't talk about me. Don't talk about me.
Then my mama,
right here.
my mama's cell phone got turned off, so I need to get a phone and put it in my name for mama. And then the next thing you know, I'm 20, but my credit scores are 300, and it's ruined. And it takes forever to get it back.
Correct.
So, man, we need to educate all of our people how to get an 820 credit score and maintain it.
Yes.
Because, you know, I mentioned this the other night. You know, there's a local bank here that I use. Wells Fargo is the bank that I use for most of the stuff, and a Chase, of course. Yeah. But here locally, I use CBTX Bank. You know why? I know the president of that bank first name basis. I can get stuff done with a phone call. I know the vice president of that bank. But why on earth do we take our hard-earned money, go up to the teller, give them our money? They don't know our names. They don't have a relationship. You know, we talk about having a relationship with God.
Yeah.
But if you don't have a relationship with your bank, your money's just sitting over there.
Just sitting over there.
We have got to get a relationship with our bankers.
Correct.
And those are the things that we got to teach on Sunday. Yeah. We got to let folks know. You know, you worked all week long for your paycheck. And it goes in the bank, and then it's gone again. So, man, we got to educate, bro.
Yeah,
we have to do
it. We're it's like we're surviving.
That's it.
You know, we it's like, and I feel like it comes down as a traditional thing. You know, Big Mama didn't teach that to what you call it. They haven't taught to you, and so we struggle, and it's crazy because we get so complacent in our struggling that we don't ever forget we struggling.
I know, man. It's the norm. It's okay.
It's the norm. It's the norm to not answer that phone call because it might be a bill collector.
That's right.
It's a norm to wait for your tax return to come back. And I told the church one time, I say, I use an example. I say, you know, you tell the Lord, hey, Lord, if you bless me, give me some money, so and so and so. You lie on your tax return, you get this big money back, and then you say, Lord, give me, and you get the money back. You say, I'm gonna go pay a tenth to the church. You don't pay a tenth to the church, and guess what? A month later, guess what? Now you back to right where you started.
Vicious cycle.
The vicious cycle. You waiting for the next year to pass by so you can see how you can get that money again because you don't know how to invest. You don't know how to do those different things, and we're just not taught those things growing up.
We're not, and you know, I have friends that own lots of property in Dallas. There's an Ethiopian group, and I get a chance to sit in with them. Man, they save money together.
Yeah.
You know, it might be a family of 25 people. Each one of them will bring $1,000 to the table every month. That's $25,000, man. Every month they bring to the table. And then somebody gets to pull a name out in March. That person gets the whole $25,000, okay?
Wow.
But they do it, I don't want to use the term religiously, but methodically they do it over. But we can't do it.
It becomes a habit. Man. It just becomes a habit.
And then we don't teach our kids how to save money. Man, we got to return back to those things again for that accountability because, again, like you said, it's educating.
It's educating.
It's educating.
And I truly believe that once again, people have put people like us together.
Yes, sir.
And like I say, it's still amazing that you bring your what you know, your education, your life, your background back to the community. And I think because you have it back in the community,
yes, sir.
My goal is now to see how can we utilize that from which you brought back to the community.
Absolutely.
And I'm definitely on board for whatever we can do to help and assist in this. All right. So once again, impact.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm actually this. I mean, you already answered the question.
Sure.
I want to ask you. I said, well, what do you consider one of the biggest issues that impacts us? And we pretty much said the education and informing our folks. And that's what I want to do. That's what I want to do a lot of this year, is educating. Now, you come to the church. Yes, I know you expect to come to church. We're going to talk about Jesus. Yes, nothing wrong with that. We're going to talk about Jesus. Hallelujah.
Yeah.
But also church used to be the place where you got all your information.
All your information.
All your information.
Every bit of it.
It was at the church, and that stopped.
It stopped
Because you come to church, and we don't pick up tithes. We ain't picking up tithes. But no, that's not what the service program is for. It's for the education. Well, we got to cut the lights on.
Yeah, I know.
You think we ought to?
Oh my goodness, man.
Yeah. So.
But having a pastor at home, means a lot because I know a lot of the churches here, the ministers live in Dallas, Fort Worth, Houston. They come in, they commute, and then right after service, they're gone. It's hard to get work done, man.
I can't drive like that.
No, but see, we need our ministers in the community, man. We need our ministers very visible, and that way, it's back to that word relationships.
Yeah.
And I would love to see our local African American ministers together. Whereas if there's a church program, there's a grid already out there, so we don't have
things going on at the same time.
Yeah, man.
I was literally talking to a preacher yesterday. He literally said the exact same words. He said, "You remember when we used to all put our stuff together and make sure it didn't clash and things like that?" I said, "Yeah, I remember. And a lot of people died off too, and and they gone, and the new ones that have come in. I think Duncan said it best. Duncan said, "Do you realize?" He told me at my last pastoral anniversary. Mm-hmm. He said, "Do you realize that you're like the oldest reigning pastor in this area right here?" Yeah. And I didn't think. I looked around. I'm like, nah, because no, because he's not. I saw a count. I'm like, snaps.
Oh snap.
In the South End, yes, it's.
You're
but I'm gonna tell you why that is, because I told God, I told the church, I said I didn't come here to leave.
No, man.
So I didn't come here to leave. So I went from, and this is called moving on faith now. I went from, we had an apartment. Okay, we lived in that apartment for 8 years. 8 years in that car. I ain't the time passed off. It was 8 years living in that apartment.
Life be lifing, though.
Life be lifing. My daughter was born. That's how I know. Her and my son are 7 years apart. She was a year old, and me and my wife sat around the table and said, "You know what? I don't think we're going anywhere anytime soon.
This is home.
Let's go ahead and put that stake in the ground." And we ended up purchasing a home.
Beautiful.
And because we didn't, Palestine is where we at.
There you go.
And it's where we're going to be. So while we're here, we at least need to try to get some stuff done. It's Black History Month.
Yes, sir.
It's Black History Month. And so, a couple of questions for you. It's being Black History Month. Who's one person that if I say Black history, you say, this is what I think about and this is how it impacts me?
My daddy.
Wow.
My father was the most incredible man, and he was just my daddy. There were 6 kids, but he was my daddy. And I promise you, I'm not making that up.
Wow.
Because obviously, Dr. King comes to mind, Malcolm X comes to mind, all these, great historical people. But I had a daddy in the home. And for me, it was Black History every month. He would tell me stories about my grandfather. He would tell me stories about, what it was like to celebrate Juneteenth.
Yeah.
But that would be my father, that figure for me. Yes,
wow. With everything going on right now, everything's going on right now. Like I said, we're so honest in the cafe. Everything going on right now. Do you see? And I know what media says and things like this, and I got my kind of view on it. But do you see a threat to Black history with what's going on currently? Do you see a threat to Black history?
Well, obviously, you'd almost have to be totally blind, and Stevie Wonder can see it. Yeah, there is a threat to that, but there's also a remedy to it. And the remedy is conversations just like this, real conversations where we are making sure that Black history is important in the home. Man, I don't depend on our schools for that kind of stuff, man. I don't depend on our schools to really educate our children. I mean, yeah, they can teach them the ABCs, but if we're not reinforcing it, that's a problem. So we got to return back to the roots of the home being a place where we are taught.
Yeah.
Man, I learned more from my mom and daddy from that switch over there in the corner than I ever learned in school. I promise you, man. Yeah. And then when I left Palestine going to the military, then I really learned, about the world after I left. But we have got to return to the basics where we're teaching Black history in the home and what that means. Right here at New Fellowship, I learned last year that there were members here, like a lady named Miss Willie Allen. She was my next door neighbor growing up on Gerard Street. We lived on 707. I think they were on 709 or something. But to me, she was a beauty queen, man. That lady was something else. Her husband was Mr. Linwood Allen. He was a member of South Union. He was a deacon over there. And not realizing they went to two separate churches. But he was a pillar of the community, and so was she, but she was a homemaker, Reminded me of June Cleaver from the Leave It to Beaver series. She always had an apron on, always a lady. That was before tattoos and all that stuff. And man, that was so beautiful to see the amount of history that's right here at this church coming from Little Flock. Man, y'all have it going on. This is one of my favorite churches in the city of Palestine, and I'm not kidding. This is a great church, man.
Man, thank you. Well, thank you. And we was talking about, it being impacted with everything that's going on in Black history and things like that. I told the church I was at yesterday, out there at Jasper Baptist Church. Once again, big shout out to Jasper. We had a great time on yesterday. I told them that we have to, and exactly what you just said. I said education does not start at the school.
No.
It starts at the house. Just start at the house first. I said, so yes, they take Black history out of school. Okay. But that means that the education stops at the house?
Nope.
I had my son. We watched Selma the other day, only because I wanted him. He's gonna do a mime at the Black History. The plan is that he's gonna do a mime at the Black History concert Saturday, and he's going to be miming to Glory.
Oh man, the movie Glory?
Yes.
Oh yeah. Okay.
He's gonna be the soundtrack
Okay. The movie Selma.
Yeah. And Carmen and John Legend does Glory, and so he's going to be doing a mime off of that, and he's already started. He's been doing it, and I've been watching him, and I'm like, okay. So I told him one day, I saw him doing it, and we was trying to tweak some stuff. I said, when we go home tonight, I want you to watch something. I said, because I believe if you watch it, and you see what you're dancing to,
you'll get it.
And about, you're not gonna help but to put, and I say all to say, with our young people, with the kids, show them these movies, teach them, talk to them, so they can know what's inside of them.
That's right.
They can know. I mean, come on, I can't help but walk around my head up if I know I'm a king's kid. If I know that these kings from Africa, I'm a stem from them. The Black Meccas, I'm a stem from them. Can't help but. I mean, you might call me Sadidi. I told the church, I said, y'all might think I'm bougie, Sadidi, whatever. I'm a king's kid.
There you go. That's right.
And I preached on yesterday afternoon. I don't look like what I've been through.
Come on now. Woo.
I preached. We don't look like what we've been through. Think about it.
The struggles, man. That's right.
We're sitting here right now on a podcast. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? We don't look like what we've been through.
That's right.
And I think that's something we need to teach our kids as well. And I know your time is limited, but I want to definitely we got a little part.
Okay.
And I know that you are a Dallas Cowboy
season ticket holder.
Season.
They hold me.
Wife. You already just said he's a season ticket holder now. So, and my wife, she bleeds stars. But we got a little segment called Caffeine Shot. So I'm gonna shoot some questions to you real quick, and whatever comes top of your head, it is what it is.
All right.
All right. And I think some of these you've already answered some of these already. Mm-hmm. All right. So Black History is what?
Black History is more than February. Black History is 12 months out of the year.
Wow. I am who I am because of
my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, first and foremost.
All right. If I had a chance, I will go back and interview who?
Oh my gosh, Nelson Mandela.
Wow, why? Talk.
Well, I remember when apartheid was at its highest, and I remember when Stevie Wonder wrote the song, "Happy Birthday." People sing it, but they don't realize it was to Nelson Mandela when he was still in prison. Happy birthday. And then the album Hotter Than July. All of that stuff, man. And then when Nelson Mandela was able to come home, and dude, to me he was the epitome of Gandhi and even peaceful people like Dr. King.
Yeah.
Non-violent, man. I would love to. His nickname was Madiba. I would love to be able to sit at his feet, man, because he was just a beautiful soul, man. Ooh. Just even tempered, and that man was beaten, man. Years and years and years being incarcerated out there on that island, man. And I would love to sit at his feet and interview him.
Wow. Man, that is awesome. I learned something right there that quick. See, I'm a human sponge. I am a human sponge. Growing up, I was raised by, my grandmother.
Sure.
And so the people who I hung around with, her brothers and sisters, who would be my great aunts and great uncles. It was nothing for me. It was just normal. It was normal going out to the pond, fishing, and getting the perches out and scraping them with the spoon. Getting the scales off of them. And she liked to have this cut head off. She liked them like that. And
fry them right on.
Fry them right up and everything. So, lastly,
yes, sir.
I want to make America what?
I guess I would say probably my home for real. Since I'm here, certainly I'm not trying to say make America great again, because I can't remember a time when it has been. And that's speaking from the black perspective. I'm being honest,
Yeah.
I know it's a mantra that people say make America great again. Well, when I was born in segregation. And it was rough.
Yeah.
And we've come a long way, and we still have a long way to come. So I want to make America my home. I mean, when I travel abroad and go to other countries, I'm so glad to be back in America, but they don't ever really make me feel like I'm a black person or less than when you travel overseas. You just don't see that, because people care less what color you are. Still in America, that it's still a big deal.
Yeah.
And color should not be, man, because, I'm learning so much about the human soul. We talk about the body, we talk about all this stuff.
Yeah.
But man, that soul is your essence. It's who you are. It's who makes Jonathan who he is.
Yeah.
It makes Ernie who I am. That's what God gave us, that soul, man. So, oh my gosh, this nation, like Dr. King said, it can, raise up to recognize what it should be and what it could be, because everyone here is immigrants anyway. There was nobody born here except the indigenous people, so.
Yeah, that's and you said that when you go abroad and you feel more, I guess you more respected overseas.
Yeah.
Do you think that because you said you grew up under segregation, people like myself who did not grow up under segregation. By the time I came, I was born during Reagan time.
Sure.
So I was a baby during Reagan time. So
I was in the military. It was tough.
I was a baby during Reagan time, but still not of age to know anything or know what was going on in the world. By the time I was able to know what was going on in the world, I was probably in Bush era or something like that. I'm talking about Daddy Bush, you know what I'm saying? Things like that. Remembering politics was probably Clinton. And and so by the time son Bush came, I'm like, man, what's going on? What y'all really got going on? What y'all really got going on? So so I didn't really just really know about segregation. And do you think that plays a part in people my age, or because now I'm the one, my age is the ones who got the kids. But I'm talking about trying to settle down, family, house, trying to, but we still got a problem with voting. We don't vote.
Yeah, because, I hear young people saying that, they're going to do what they're going to do anyway. And, the way I look at it is so many people died, man, for that right, that very basic right to be able to go up and cast your ballot, give your opinion on who you want to govern your nation.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's great to vote for the president, but, man, we don't even get involved in local elections, and that's where it really is. I mean, when you talk about your taxes, and I want to say this because the biggest problem I see in Palestine, just one of the big problems, is we live in a city that doesn't even have sidewalks, man. That drives me nuts.
Can I say something? I never paid no attention to reason. Never paid attention to that until they were putting some sidewalks somewhere, and I was like, what the Brown Reagan Park? Yeah. They was putting those sidewalks up there, and I said, but what? Wait a minute, we don't have sidewalks
what about
around
our street, man? Where kids walk up and down, riding bicycles. We need sidewalks, man, but no one seems to care. Wow. No one seems to care.
And
that's a thing that really angers me. And boy, there's a lot of stuff we'll talk about off air. We got work to do.
Yeah, we do.
I'm
we do
serious.
Have.
We got work to do.
We have work to do. I told some young some people the other day. I was saying about, and you just mentioned that. I was talking about if you want your voice to be heard, like you say, we don't even pay attention at the local level. We don't pay attention at the mayor, the governor, the Congress, your representatives. We don't pay attention to nothing at that level. But I told the other day, I said, listen, you want your voice to be heard? Yes, you can't go to the White House and knock on the door. He might not even know you out there protesting and can care less if you out there protesting. I said, but there is some people who you talk to directly. I said, when the last time you wrote your representative?
Oh, my goodness. Wow.
When was the last time you wrote your representative?
Well, who is my representative?
Who is my representative? You know what I'm saying? I said, but guess what? It's either you listen to us, or listen to him. Because you don't listen to us, we vote for you.
Man, Pastor, I was able to receive an award from the Dallas Black Chamber of Commerce in 1992. It was called the Quest for Success. I owned another company, and there was a gentleman that worked for a company called Fina Oil. Oil. In fact, you probably don't even see FINA signs anymore, but the CEO of that company, his name was Ron Haddock. I'm sitting in my office, and he called me. I'm like, man, who? And, Google, I think the internet was still in its infancy. I had no idea who Mr. Ron Haddock was, but he asked me to come up to his office, and he was over on Central Expressway and Campbell Road. Okay. And, those big gold buildings, one's a DoubleTree Hotel. Yeah. I went up there. And, he sat around the conference room with me, and it was a while before he came in. But he said, I have an interest in you. Me? Why? He said, you're part of an organization in Dallas called RMBDC. That stood for Recycling Minority Business Dollars. Okay? Man, in Palestine, Texas, the dollar comes into the black community, and it stays for about 30 minutes, and it's gone. Wow. 30 minutes. In the white community, the dollar circulates for 2 weeks before it leaves. Think about that. Wow. Outside this building, you can't go to a convenience store and get gasoline or potato chips or even a newspaper. You can't get bread. You have to go either to Walmart, and they could care less whether you go out there or not. But until we learn to recycle dollars back in our own community, that's why money doesn't come into the church anymore, because there's no commerce here locally. We have got to have a washateria, a laundromat right here in our neighborhood. We got to have a convenience store. My goal is to take my office over on West Palestine Avenue and bring it right here in the South End. Wow. That's my goal, man. There's a place right here on Girard Street, right next to the land where we're building the Boys and Girls Club. I want to bring a convenience store right back there. It's going to go in. The laundromat's going to be back on Fulton Street. We can do this stuff together. Yeah. We can. And we're going to. And I'm just not. And you know what? I'm not waiting on anybody. Yeah. I'm just going to do it.
I guess the Lord called this together, because I am. You have given me the extra boost.
Yes, sir.
But I mean, you always do when I talk to you. It's like, you give me an extra boost. Man. And the fact that things you're talking about is things that we desire to have in this area. And then, like, even some things you mentioned I didn't even think about, that our money stayed in our area for 30 minutes?
30 minutes, and it's gone, man, because just think about it. We have people who don't even have checking accounts. They go to work at the prison, and they either, sometimes, I don't know if they get paper checks anymore, but they used to go to the liquor store, cash their check, or go downtown and cash their check. Yeah. Man, I haven't seen a paycheck in so long.
I know.
You know what I'm saying? It's all direct. But it's those types of things, man, and you got to make sure that some of your dollars stay in your community.
In your community.
Because that's why it's gone down, down, down. When you look at the South End, that's why it's depressing. Yeah, because there's nothing here. When I was a little boy, man, we had Miss Mariah's store. We had Mr. Hosey Fain, who had a store up on Reagan Street. We had the Zigzag Inn Cafe on South Jackson before you get to Mose Hill. We had Mr. John Tatum. Man, I could go on and on and on. And these were black businesses, okay? Let alone Dickie Store and Frazier and Mr. Wilson. Man, we had businesses over here. Rodney Howard had a record shop, man.
Yeah, I didn't know about that till you said that at one of the church things. You said that. I didn't know.
Man, Mr. Lane had a service station, a full service store. You drove up.
Is that down there?
Right up on Grove Street.
Yeah.
Right there, man. And these were the things that were happening in this very community, in these little streets, man. And it was hustling and bustling. People would be walking, going and coming, going to church. Man, it's depressing now. But we can bring it back, man, when you see the ladies with the umbrellas and people sitting on the porch. Hey, Miss Shaw, how you doing? We got to do that, man.
Yeah.
Bring it back. Bring it back.
Man. Hey, listen, we stand with you. We stand with you. I thank you so much, man. Oh, my gosh. Thank you so much for coming on with us, man. Once again, this is Ernie Williams. I
want to come back.
He's coming back. He's coming back because we got a lot to do. Yeah. He's coming back to the cafe. Anything that you need to say to the people, please let me know. We can get on here, and I really want this to be just another platform for you, for Impact, and for us. Because doggone it, we're gonna be part of Impact as well. This is our community. This is our area, and we have no excuse. Literally, no excuse now. We have somebody saying, "Listen." You know, some people don't want to think about it. Some people, well, I don't really know what I need. But when somebody's standing there saying, "Listen, here's the numbers. I'm telling you what we need. Here is the numbers."
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Then we have no excuse to get it done. No excuse to get it done
whatsoever. Let's work together.
And I thank you so much. Thank you so much. Hey, y'all, listen. Once again, we will be back in the cafe. Once again, it's Ernie Williams. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Thank y'all so much. Hey, listen, like, share, subscribe. Like, share, subscribe. Tell somebody. Most of all, share and subscribe. Let somebody know. Subscribe so you can continue to get know when new things are popping in. They're coming in weekly, y'all. They're coming in weekly.
Hit the button.
What I tell you, 2025, we're doing new things. We're going live. We're talking to real people about real situations. So I thank y'all so much for tuning in to J Talk Podcast. Once again, Early Williams, God love y'all. Hey, ain't nothing you can do about it. Keep you something to drink. Keep that caffeine going through your system. Peace.
God bless you.